Yeah, on our previous show, we talked about theater itself, the creation, the magic of theater. We also saw how a play comes to life. And on this show, we would like to come out of the imaginary theater and look at our life. We see that, as Oren mentioned, that we're all actors and the world's one big stage. Once you mentioned that we're all living in one long, ongoing theater play, changing characters all the time. I even see that in a certain relationship I'm playing one role, and in another relationship a different one. And I see that I have many faces, characters, and roles that I play in different relationships and states in life. And the question is, how does it happen that one person portrays so many characters as if there is one big play going on inside a person and he's constantly changing characters? How does that work? We don't know at all who we are because, all in all, I was born, I came into this world, and I started looking at everyone and learning from everyone. Sounds and colors, different relations and attitudes towards me, from everything that surrounds me. I learn from all that. I learn how it relates to me and how I relate to that. And that's how it is with everything in life. First of all, in my crib, then in my room, then in my apartment, and the backyard, and my city, and the entire world. All in all, we learn from everyone. We learn from examples. And from these examples, were we really to pay attention? And were we experts in constantly seeing ourselves from the side? We would have seen how we perceive everyone's behavior, how we absorb it, and how later on we implement it necessarily. Were I not to absorb these different forms of behavior from the outside, from different people, I wouldn't have behaved the way I do today at all, even with myself. Were I to grow up in a jungle, I'd behave like monkeys, like Mowgli. I need examples. Whereas in animals, there is no such thing. The still vegetative inanimate, they operate according to nature. Some calf grows up, or a sheep, or a lion, and you can't do anything about it. You can only intimidate it so it won't eat you. But you can't change their nature because their entire behavior is immersed within nature. However, human beings, they lack all these forms completely. We can make anything we want out of them. A baby, it's like an empty box that you can fill up with any form of behavior that you want, depending on where we take him. Of course, there are genes and hormones here, and different previous impressions, reshimot in Hebrew, from previous incarnations, and a nation that a person belongs to. There's a kind of a starting position. But after that, everything about that person's behavior and so on, he takes it from the environment. And therefore, it is specifically man that is so dependent on education. And it's not like with animals that we tame, but we educate people, and that's the difference. And it's not because this is a human being and this is a dog. No, it's because a human being takes on different forms of behavior and a dog doesn't. He just hears, understands after beatings, after something, and takes on different restrictions, limitations. certain additions to his dogly behavior, but a person, he can change from one end to the other. And we're talking about the ordinary fellow on the street. And besides that, today we're in the 20th century, where we see that a person has to change. In essence, he has no one to take an example from. He has no one to take an example from because he has to turn into a person who absorbs the whole of humanity, who is ready to connect with the whole of humanity, that sees the whole of humanity as one mechanism, as one family. Where will he learn this from? Who will he take it from? But we see that unless we reach a state where all of us become connected, we'll simply slaughter each other. We have enough knives and weapons today, no problem. We'll create a whole mess in the world with our ego. The examples that we learn, that we take from the radio, the television, the internet, all these things, it's simply horrific. And if a person takes his characters from there, then of course it's better not to reach our future. Let's hope we'll die before that. It's that bad. Because if the world will keep going where it's headed, I wouldn't want to be there. And therefore, we have to make sure that the world, meaning each and every person, will get an example, a good and nice impression. And here we're coming to the question of who will he get it from? From us? What do you mean from us? We got such an impression from our previous life that I'm a savage. I know that about myself, that's how it is. What do you want from me? I'm willing. Please, go ahead, educate me. Who's going to educate me? There's no one. And therefore we have to understand from science, from wisdom, from our acquaintance with the current reality, which is entirely integral, in which we're all interconnected, where we're all in a clamp that nature is squeezing us more and more in order for us to reach the right kind of connection between us. We have no other choice but to become actors, to be models, role models for ourselves, so that we'll portray the game of life and portray it correctly, by which we will give each other an example. That, of course, on the inside, I'm a savage, but I'm trying to keep myself and to act out as if I'm a corrected person, nice towards others, not just, well-mannered, like an Englishman with gloves that's ready to kill a person cold-bloodedly, and before that, to beg his pardon, a gentleman. But what we mean here is that I show a person that I am relating to him in a good way, that I'm trying to be good to him out of my own nature, that it doesn't come as some hypocritic external clothing, but that it comes from the heart, that this is how I treat him from my heart. And I have to give an example for it, and give such an impression that that person will truly be impressed by it, and he'll really think that that's how I am, that this is my true form. And this way, everyone towards everyone. If we'll do this towards the children that are growing up, towards the people on the street, let's act. Let's hand out prizes, whoever excels in the field. Let's write about him on the internet, on the newspapers, talk about him on TV. The 10 people that this week got most votes, that they they gave everyone the best example to the people in our small country. And then you write, Oren Levy excelled. And also Miss Nitza, she is really outstanding. Meaning a good behavior, a good feeling, an attitude and the waves they create around them. An actor, an educational actor, let's call it this way. It's a role that everyone has to acquire. Every parent has to know that he is acting towards his children and they are learning from him, and they will have the exact same attitude towards their families and children as the parents have towards them. This is what they'll learn. The very behavior that a child will absorb from his father at the age of 5 is the very same behavior or attitude that he will have towards his child when he will be 5 years old. I see it on my son, the way he treats his children, and I can't say anything. I made such and such mistakes, and therefore I see that that's how it is, passing from one generation to the next. So therefore, we have to open a university for the theater of life, and everyone has to study psychology and acting and to accept this role as the most serious role, because by this we are like the upper force. By this we become the director, even the screenplay that builds the life for the next generation, or even for the next week or month, and so on. Because by this, we shape our entire world, because it's all a stage and we're all actors. So, by giving an example to others as to how to act, by that, I become the director of our world.